What if our solar system is more than just a collection of planets and moons? What if it carries hidden chapters of a forgotten human story? One that stretches not just across continents, but across worlds. From the depths of Earth's oceans to the red deserts of Mars and even the pale glowing surface of the Moon, myths, anomalies, and ancient mysteries whisper of a connection we've barely begun to understand. For centuries, Atlantis has been the greatest legend of lost civilizations. A city of advanced knowledge, wiped away in a cataclysm. But what if Atlantis was more than just a place on Earth? What if it was part of something larger, something cosmic? Some researchers speculate that Atlantis may not have been confined to Earth at all. Could it have been linked to Mars, once a world with oceans, rivers, and perhaps even life? And could the Moon, our constant companion in the sky, have played a role as a stepping stone between these worlds? Three mysteries, one story. Atlantis, Mars, and the Moon. Seemingly separate, but perhaps connected by threads of myth, memory, and forgotten history. Could it be that humanity's origins are far stranger than we've ever imagined? Tonight, we'll dive deep into the myths and the science, to ask a question few dare to consider. Are these worlds part of one lost cosmic story? A story of humanity itself? Human history is like a puzzle. We know many of its pieces, but others seem missing, scattered, or perhaps hidden in plain sight. Myths, legends, and scientific anomalies often point to the same question. Have we forgotten something extraordinary about our past? Atlantis, the Moon, and Mars. Three names from vastly different contexts. One a myth, one our closest celestial companion, and the other a distant red desert. Yet, when studied closely, they share uncanny overlaps. Stories of water, life, destruction, and survival. Atlantis was said to be a shining civilization, rich in knowledge and power, destroyed by a great flood. The Moon, strangely positioned, with a history that challenges scientific assumptions, and Mars, a barren planet now, but with rivers and oceans carved deep into its past. Could these three worlds be chapters of the same ancient story? Some researchers suggest Atlantis may have been more than a lost city. It could have been a memory of humanity's true origins, or even the remnants of a spacefaring culture. Others point to the Moon as an outpost, an artificial guardian, or even a vessel deliberately placed in Earth's orbit. And Mars, its scars tell us of oceans lost, an atmosphere stripped away, and perhaps a great civilization buried beneath the sands of time. In this documentary, we'll explore the evidence, the myths, and the speculation. We'll look at what Plato actually wrote about Atlantis. We'll examine the strange anomalies of the Moon that continue to baffle scientists. And we'll journey to Mars, a world that may have once looked a lot like Earth. Along the way, we'll ask, could these three mysteries be pieces of the same puzzle? This is not about proving Atlantis or claiming Mars was once our home. It is about exploring the possibility that myths preserve truths, that science sometimes hints at forgotten chapters, and that maybe, just maybe, the story of humanity is written not just on Earth, but across the cosmos. Our story begins with a man who lived over 2,000 years ago, the philosopher Plato. In two of his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, Plato described a powerful civilization that existed 9,000 years before his time, a civilization known as Atlantis. He wrote of a vast island, larger than Libya and Asia combined, located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we know today as the Strait of Gibraltar. Atlantis, he said, was a land of incredible wealth and advanced technology, ruled by kings descended from gods and men. Atlantis was described as a utopia, yet also a place of pride and ambition. Its people waged war against ancient Athens, and, according to Plato, the gods punished them for their arrogance. In a single day and night of disaster, Atlantis sunk beneath the sea. But here lies the mystery. Was Plato describing a historical memory passed down through generations? Or was Atlantis a metaphor, a story meant to warn against hubris and greed? Scholars still debate. Yet outside the halls of academia, Atlantis became something far greater, a legend that refuses to die. Over the centuries, Atlantis has been placed everywhere, from the Mediterranean to the Caribbean, from Antarctica to beneath the Sahara Desert. Every generation seems to rediscover it, reimagine it, and reshape it. But what if the true answer is even stranger than we imagine? Some researchers argue that Atlantis may not have been entirely of Earth. Could it have been a colony of an older, more advanced culture, one that stretched to the moon or even to Mars? Plato described Atlantis as a civilization of great engineers, master builders, and astronomers. But why do so many myths across cultures, whether in Mesopotamia, Egypt, or the Americas, speak of gods descending from the sky, teaching humanity architecture, astronomy, and farming? Were these gods simply myths or memories of an advanced people, perhaps Atlanteans, who were not bound to Earth alone? Atlantis may not have been just a city that sunk beneath the ocean. It may have been a chapter of an interplanetary story, a civilization shattered not only by floods and earthquakes, but by cosmic forces that reshaped our solar system. And if Atlantis was real, whether as a terrestrial empire or as an echo of something beyond, its memory might still be alive today, not just in Plato's writings, but in the silent witnesses above us, the moon and Mars. For as long as humans have looked to the sky, the moon has been our silent companion. It lights our nights, governs our tides, and has inspired myths in every culture. But the closer we study it, the stranger it becomes. The moon, it seems, is not what it should be. Scientists still debate how the moon formed. The most accepted theory suggests a colossal impact billions of years ago, where a Mars-sized body collided with Earth and the debris eventually coalesced into our satellite. But this theory leaves many unanswered questions. The moon is unusually large for a planetary satellite. It is almost perfectly circular in orbit, and unlike other moons, it doesn't wander. It remains tidally locked, always showing us the same face. And then there are the anomalies. When Apollo astronauts set seismometers on the moon and allowed the discarded modules to crash into its surface, the moon rang like a bell. Vibrations echoed for nearly an hour. Some took this as evidence the moon might be hollow, or at least composed in a way unlike any natural body we've studied. But from a scientific perspective, the hollow moon is not widely accepted. But to mythmakers and speculative thinkers, it ignited an idea. What if the moon is not entirely natural? What if it is an artifact or even a construct placed in orbit deliberately? Cultures across the world have told stories of gods who came from the moon. The Zulu people of South Africa describe the moon as a hollow egg brought into the sky by two brothers. Ancient Sumerian texts speak of celestial bodies as vessels. And even in more recent history, some have wondered, was the moon a staging ground for ancient civilizations, perhaps even the Atlanteans themselves? If Atlantis was a culture of great astronomers and engineers, could the moon have served as their outpost, a place to observe Earth, to study the skies, and perhaps to bridge the gap between planets? And let us not forget, the far side of the moon remained hidden to human eyes until the 20th century. What might have been concealed there in ages long before modern science? Were there structures, signals, or ruins that time has erased? Whether natural or not, the moon is a mystery, a companion that seems almost too perfect, too convenient, too aligned with the cycles of Earth. And perhaps it holds silent testimony to a past where Atlantis was not bound to our oceans, but to the stars. Mars, the red planet. For centuries, it has captured the human imagination. A world so close to our own, yet so alien. A planet once alive with rivers, lakes, and perhaps even oceans. But now, it lies barren, scarred, and silent. Or is it? Science tells us that billions of years ago, Mars was not the frozen desert we see today. Evidence suggests it had a thick atmosphere, a magnetic field, and flowing water. Some scientists believe it may have even been habitable. If so, could it have been home to life or something greater, a civilization? For decades, strange anomalies on Mars have fueled speculation. The famous face on Mars, first photographed by NASA's Viking 1 orbiter in 1976, stirred imaginations worldwide. To some, it was a natural mesa shaped by light and shadow. To others, it was undeniable evidence of an ancient monument.
Scientists later revealed clearer images, dismissing the face as an illusion. But the questions did not end there. Across the Martian surface, strange geometric patterns, symmetrical hills, and what some interpret as pyramids continue to spark debate. Are they natural formations or the weathered ruins of a forgotten people? Ancient myths of Atlantis describe a people of advanced knowledge, masters of the sea, the sky, and perhaps the stars. What if their empire did not sink into Earth's oceans, but instead stretched across planets? Could Atlantis and Mars share a hidden connection, one that has been erased by time? Speculative theories suggest Mars may have once hosted intelligent life, possibly destroyed by a planetary cataclysm. Some researchers even point to isotopes in Mars's atmosphere, Xenon-129, hinting at a massive nuclear-like event in the past. While mainstream science attributes this to natural cosmic radiation, others whisper, could this have been a war, a disaster, or the end of a Martian civilization? And then comes the most provocative question of all. If Atlantis was a civilization not bound to one world, but to many, could its survivors have fled Mars, retreating to Earth, or even the Moon? Could the legends of gods descending from the skies, or entire cities sinking beneath the seas, be memories of worlds lost beyond our own? Today, rovers crawl across the Martian deserts, searching for signs of water, fossils, or even microbial life. But perhaps they are also searching for something more, a faint trace of a story older than humanity itself, a memory written not in myth, but in stone and dust. Mars, dead, silent, and empty, or a graveyard of a forgotten civilization, perhaps even the sister world of Atlantis.
The Moon, Mars, and Atlantis. Three great mysteries scattered across myth and science. Perhaps they are separate stories, legends of the sea, echoes of lost worlds, and the quiet testimony of alien landscapes. But perhaps they are fragments of a much larger truth, a truth that stretches beyond the boundaries of Earth. Plato's Atlantis may not have been just a city swallowed by the ocean. It could have been a memory, a cosmic memory passed down through generations, distorted by time, but pointing us to something extraordinary. A civilization that may have walked not only upon the earth, but upon the stars. We may never know if Atlantis truly existed, or if Mars and the Moon hold its secrets. But what we do know is this: humanity has always looked upward toward the stars, searching for answers. And perhaps we are not just explorers of the cosmos, but survivors of it. Are the stories of Atlantis echoes of Earth's deep past, or whispers from other worlds? Could we be carrying the memory of civilizations long lost, etched into our myths, waiting to be rediscovered? One day, as we step onto Mars, build colonies on the Moon, and dive deeper into the mysteries of our oceans, we may finally uncover the truth. Until then, these questions remain, not as answers, but as invitations. Invitations to wonder, to imagine, and to never stop searching. This is Myths of the Cosmos. Subscribe and join us as we continue unraveling the greatest mysteries of the universe.